So there's really 2 or 3 kinds of fish when you get them around the nest. Well, good morning. That's about 3 or 4 minutes into the morning. I'm hoping the sun's going to pop out later and we do a little nest fishing. I got something kind of cool planned if we can. But for now, that's pretty aggressive. Man, that EWG hook's got him stuck in. That would have been a monster at the Bassmaster Classic. Great viewing, wasn't it, guys? Yeah, that was awesome. Anyway, that was on the little crude. The fish bit a Cinco first pass and didn't get it. So that took a while, but I finally got her turned sideways where I could bang her in the head with it, or bang him in the head with it, peeing. And there you go. I really hope the underwater footage worked. Let's go check it out. That's that little crude bait. It's a hollow bait made by 6 Sense. It's basically a tube with a lot more action. So I just skin hook it. Some people call it tech skin. You run the hook through it and then you just hook it right back on the other side. Yeah. There's a little old male up there, but golly, that's fun. And you'll see from the underwater footage how he was reacting. Whew, I love doing that. That's the second reference to underwater video I've made in this video. So if you haven't seen Last Thirst, you see that thing in the water right there. That's an underwater camera mount that I made, and I featured it in the video Thirsty with the underwater footage. That's it right there. It's concrete and a bucket with a couple of GoPro goosenecks and a PVC pipe handle, and that's what I'm shooting with. Underwater footage didn't come out great, but I learned several lessons, and I'm going to try to shoot some more in the near future in better conditions now that I kind of understand how it works, and also with a filter. So bear with me on that. I think we'll get some good footage somewhere here in the next few weeks, guys. Granted, this is a little guy, but this is some really serious air here. He just jumped and keeps swimming in the air. This is a great jump. So this is a great bite. I saw one about that long up there, and I pitched my Senko to him, and this one came darting out from the shallows. I mean, this fish swam 8 or 10 feet to get this bait. Just darted over there and took it away from that other fish. That was a cool bite. I love fishing this time of year. So much fun. Oh, he done chewed up my Senko. I don't care how big they are, that's fine. It's bigger than I thought it was. I thought that was a 10-incher. That's a 15-incher. So there's really 2 or 3 kinds of fish when you get them around the nest. Spawn and post-spawn. More post-spawn, they'll just lock up on it, and anything that comes up on that nest, they're going to chase off. That fish, there's probably been a female up there spawning with that fish. He was pretty protective. He would run off, but he would come right back. The first fish I caught was real spooky, and what you saw me do was I set up on that fish, and that fish would run out and make a circle, and it would make a circle. And generally speaking, if they're catchable, that circle's going to get smaller and smaller until they really start setting up on the nest. And once that happens, that fish is less aggressive. So that fish there actually once they settle down to the boat being in the position. And boat position's a lot of things. As you see, I try to turn my nose to the boat, so I'm not giving them the big profile of the boat. I don't want them to see the whole boat. But when they do that circle, that fish over there, I finally got it to where it would sit still. And once they'll sit still, I'm going to catch them. Because once they sit still, I'll start hitting them. And it just pisses them off. There's no other word for it. And the best hit is right behind the gill plate and fall in front of their face. They'll almost always nuke it if you do that. But that fish over there, I never could get the right angle on it. So I just kept kind of banging it in the side until finally she turned where I could hop that bait right over in front of her nose, and she smoked it. I do believe you'll hear a lot of guys say that there's a spot on a nest that a fish will protect. I do believe there are fish that get really territorial about one tiny little spot on a nest. But I think more fish, it's just about their attitude, getting them in a position where they're defensive or aggressive. Either aggressive, chasing everything off, which you see usually a little more in post-spawn, or defensive when you start hitting them with stuff. And look, when you're 17 inches and something that big hits you, that makes you mad, and they will eventually turn around and just smoke it. So that's kind of my thoughts on a little bit of nest fishing. I'll share some more with y'all in a little bit. So as you saw, I just turned the camera off and turned it right back on. And I went over a nest out there a little bit deeper, and that fish was set up square in the middle of that nest and never moved. And I mean, that was almost a vertical drop on that fish. That fish probably 4 feet down there. And when locked on like that, they are really, really, really easy to catch. So I don't know if you saw what I did there or not, but I got that fish really worked up. She never would commit. She'd run up to it and nose on it. And I blew Bill Johnson, my old team partner, who's gone now. I blew his mind one day. I had a similar situation with the fish on the nest that I messed with. If you don't believe in scent, that's that bang with that garlic scent on it. And you saw me sit down, I sprayed that bait. And I'll put a link to that where you can buy that bait. But that was the first pitch, that bang on there. And maybe it's the color. I'm telling you, that scent, when they're up there, it can make a big, big difference. And that certainly did right there. Oh. We had the crew. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to show you that little hook I'm using. This is it's called a Mustache soft plastics hook. It's a little bitty 2/0 hook, ultra point. That's a great little hook right there for little baits like this. It's strong as it can be. And of course, you know, being a smaller profile hook makes it stronger, right? Where did the crubs go? You know, what's amazing about that is she ate it 3 or 4 times and I never felt a thing. Never felt her. Just seeing her. One other thing I'll warn you about, that's the little fish, is, and you'll see this in the underwater footage too, unless you see that entire bait disappear, do not set the hook, because they'll grab it a lot of times and just get part of the bait, and if you happen to stick them, you stick them on the outside of the mouth. Tournaments, you got to turn them loose. So just a thought. You know what, let me expand on that. I made that comment about them biting it and not getting the whole bait in their mouth. If once you get them to the point that they're biting at that bait, you don't want to foul hook them, you don't want to slap them in the side of the face. If they bite it and just get part of it, they're fired up. You're going to catch them in the next 2 casts to 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So don't take a chance. If you still see part of your bait sticking out of their mouth, I mean, I generally won't pull on them until I see that entire bait go down in their mouth, and I'll pull on them, unless I'm funny fishing. So there you go.